Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to today's yoga class. Today we're going to be focusing on some flexibility, some balance, and a little bit of core strength. So useful for anyone who practices sports, particularly equestrianism. Again, it's been requested, so thank you for asking for this class. Now, some of you have reported back to me that you were completely outraged by the socks that I was wearing in my last video, my lovely toe socks with the gaps between each toe. So today, just to make you all happy, there are no socks on these feet, but there is a reason that those toe socks are so useful, and I'm going to talk through that as we move through our practice. But before we do, we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. Sukhasana, Siddhasana. If you think, what is she talking about with all the funny words? Cross legs. If cross legs feels uncomfortable, then you can sit with your legs out in front of you, your feet together, your knees apart. Anywhere that feels comfortable so that your spine can be nice and tall, your shoulders can relax, and it feels like your head is balanced evenly on your shoulders. And rather than letting your bottom stick out behind you and your chest poke forward, squeezing the back muscles, I'd like you to think about a gentle squeeze of the tummy muscles. So you're rolling ever so slightly backwards into the sit bones, lifting the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders so that your spine is nice and long. And we're not forgetting that the spine has got the natural curves to it. You want to maintain those natural curves to your spine, but keep the strength to support the spine in its natural upright position, letting your head balance on your neck, shoulders relaxed. Resting your hands in your lap and on your knee or on your knees, wherever feels comfortable for you, just to let your eyes close. And take a couple of deep, long breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose. Feeling your belly expand as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, letting your belly button naturally draw towards your spine. This time we're going to breathe in and out through our nose, both through our nose. So breathe in through your nose. And if it's comfortable, out through your nose, long and slow. Notice that there might be a slight throaty, raspy sound to your breath as you breathe out. Fine, that's what we want. That's called Ujjayi breath. Maybe again, breathing in, contracting the back of your throat, feeling that raspy sound. If you can hear your breath, you're aware of it, you're more conscious of it. And breathing out, contracting your throat, that raspy sound. You're more aware of keeping it steady, keeping it calm, making sure it doesn't feel jagged or strained when you can hear the inhales and when you can hear the exhales. And you should be able to hear the person on the other side of the room for you. Just your own breath and perhaps the people next to you. It's just a smooth, easy sound, smooth, easy flow to your breath. And keeping your eyes closed, slide your hands onto your knees or your thighs, and we're going to begin to circle at the waist. Just making some big circles at your waist. If it doesn't feel comfortable with your eyes closed, if it makes you feel dizzy or awkward in any way, let your eyes open and have a fixed gaze on a spot in front of you somewhere into the distance. Just relaxed gaze. And once you develop the circles in your tummy, I'd like you to start to connect your movement and your breath. So we do that with this circling movement. As you breathe in, you're going to come forward, push your belly forward, blow up your belly, and as you breathe out, round to the side, squeeze your tummy muscles into your spine. And then as you come around to the other side, start to push your belly forward as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, squeeze, contract. You can round your spine here. Oh, there's Pebbles. Breathing in. The beauty of teaching yoga from home, breathing out, squeezing, and then coming back to center, having a little roll around your shoulders and your neck and your head, opening your eyes, always back again, extending your legs out in front of you. Excellent. Just giving your feet and your legs, the backs of your legs, a little tap out on the floor, maintaining that strength in your tummy so you're not collapsing backwards, lifting up from your chest. Both toes are going to point, both sets of toes even are going to point up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to focus on the right side to start. So I'd like to squeeze just your right toes, not your foot. Don't give yourself cramp. Just think about squeezing your toes. And as you breathe in, spread your toes as far as they can go. Breathe out, squeeze just the toes, not the sole of the foot. Breathe in, extend, spread them out. Can you see space between each toe? One more time, breathe in, squeeze. And breathe out, extend, get some space. And then you can just let go of that foot and begin to make some circles just with the right foot. Just circling your ankle. Often in a class scenario and there's lots of people around me, it sounds like a little symphony when we do this. We get lots of clicks and clacks from the ankle, and that's good. That's air being released from the joints. If it hurts, you can make your movement smaller, but those little pops and clicks are a good thing, normally. Then bring your hand behind your right knee. Let your body lean back a little bit. So you're leaning back but keeping a nice long spine. So we're starting to use our tummy muscles a little bit with some support from our arms. And I'd just like you to bend and straighten your right knee. And again, if it feels a bit too crunchy, maybe your knee feels really tight, and just make your movements small. The more you warm up, the bigger your movements can be. My knee's crunching and clicking. Early in the morning here. And then you can start to make some circles with your lower leg. And your knee is a joint in which there is a little bit of movement in a circular way. You will also feel your hip rotating. The majority of the knee movement is flexion and extension, but it can go out to the sides a little bit. So just notice that, but be aware that yes, your hip is also moving as well, and then change directions of those circles. If you're drawing circles with your toes, brilliant. Then this is for all of you who think my toe socks are strange. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Now you might begin to feel a bit of a stretch here anyway, in the outer right glute. We're going to give our right foot a little bit of a massage. With your thumbs, your hands, you can close your eyes and just feel what feels right for you. So feet are really, really important for balancing, for keeping us grounded. But if you think of a pyramid, when we look at a pyramid, the base is nice and wide. If you tipped a pyramid upside down and tried to balance it on the point, it would fall over. Same principle with our feet. When our feet are nice and open and spread out, we've got a much wider base of support to balance on. If we're squeezing our feet together and crimping our toes and gripping like that, some sports, climbing for example, that's really useful and it's a practical thing to do. But as soon as you get those shoes off, let your feet open and stretch. You want that nice wide base of support to stand firmly on terra firma, on solid ground again. Now this next bit isn't for everyone, and not everyone can go the whole way in, that's absolutely fine. You're going to take your fingers, the tips of your fingers first, and just insert the tip of each finger into a gap between the toes. Now that might feel enough, and that might feel strange enough as it is. Some of you will be able, depends how sweaty your feet are, some of you will be able to slide your fingers in between your toes and hold onto your foot like you're holding hands with it. And then we're going to make some circles. So using that bind on your foot, just making some circles to really move the ankle around. You can kind of squeeze with your hand on your foot to give the sole of your foot a bit of an extra massage. Lovely. Changing direction with your circles. And then release. And we're going to hold on to the foot, the right foot with the left hand and the knee with the right hand. Just pick the leg up off your supporting left leg and allow yourself to just let your leg rock forward and backwards like you're rocking a baby, still keeping your spine upright. Some of you will be more comfortable staying here. Some of you might be able to hook the outside edge of your foot into your elbow and your knee into the other elbow and hold onto your foot, drawing it into your chest, but please don't collapse round the shoulders. Do think about drawing your tummy muscles in. Your movement will be a bit smaller. Doesn't mean it's any better than being out here. So wherever is comfortable for your body, that's the most important thing in yoga, listening to your own body, being able to breathe, being able to smile. Again, this hip opening is really, really useful for so many activities. Lovely. And then gently support your right foot back down to the floor. Extend your leg out straight and just give your right leg a little tap out on the floor behind you. I'm going to come sideways so you can see. Point both toes up towards the ceiling, a little bit of core strength here. Reach your arms forwards. As you exhale, I want you to start to round your back. Rounding, 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 reaching your fingers still towards your toes, let your spine back. Round, belly button to spine. Shoulders are relaxed, they're not hunching by your ears. Can you relax? Can you stop halfway and hover? Belly button to spine. Toes up to the ceiling, smile. And can you come all the way down, letting yourself flop onto the floor. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms over your head, toe to fingertip stretch, point your toes. Can you grow a little bit taller? Oh, that feels good. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest, drawing your knee in towards you. Straighten out your right leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe holding onto the back of the thigh. If it doesn't feel comfortable, if you can't reach, you can do this hands free, but extending up into your toes. So if anyone watching does ballet, you're going to be cringing right now because you're not doing a beautiful toe point. You're spreading your toes as wide as you can, trying to see a bit of ceiling between your toes. Imagine you're trying to get toe prints on the ceiling, so pulling your toes backwards towards your foot. Brilliant. Let your arms drop down by your sides. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Press your low back into the floor, and as you breathe out, slower than you want to, lower your right leg to the floor. Go really, really slow. Keep extending out through your toes. You should be about halfway, or maybe even just before halfway, so keep it really, really slow. Eyes closed. Focusing on extending your leg. And this is a little bit of yoga magic. If anyone watching this video notices anything magical here, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know what you notice. And then when your heel reaches the ground, just let everything rest for a moment. Let your head roll left and right. Bring both knees, bending both knees, bringing both feet in towards your bottom. And do a little rock and roll. So bring both knees in towards your chest. Hold on behind the backs of your thighs. Lift your chin to your chest, so you're lifting your head off the floor, belly button to spine, lower back pressing into the floor. Just going to rock forwards and backwards a few times. See if we can hover your feet. Rocking back, rounding, toes behind you. Can you come up and hover your feet without touching the floor? One more time, rocking back. Maybe your toes touch the floor behind you, maybe not. And you rock and hover your feet without touching the floor. A little bit of movement to stabilize. Brilliant. And then placing your feet back down. And let's do the same again on the other side. So extending both legs out straight. A little bit of a space between your feet. Moving over to the left leg. If you find that it's really hard on your hip flexors here to stay upright, please do pop something underneath your hips, like a cushion, a book, a yoga block if you have one, a rolled up blanket, anything to raise your hips, gives you a little bit more space, makes sitting upright feel a little bit more comfortable. So left toes, we'll do some squeezes just with the toes, and inhale, release, spread the toes out. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release and spread. One more time, squeezing, releasing and spreading. Brilliant. Rotating the ankle. Noticing how that feels, that rotation. Is there any release in the joints? Changing direction as many times as you like. Lovely. And then moving our awareness up to our knee. So bringing your left knee in towards you, holding onto the back of your thigh, leaning back slightly so you're engaging tummy muscles, but your arms are there for support. Not doing all the work. You're not hanging off your arms completely. Kind of, your tummy muscles are doing about 80% of the work, and your arms are doing about 20%. So they're supporting you, not doing everything. And again, we're just going to bend and straighten the knee. And it doesn't have to go completely straight. You can just do little teeny movements, depending on how your knee feels today. And then you can make those little circles with your toes. Yoga is not about putting yourself in a cave, up in a mountain where there are no distractions. Practicing yoga for most of us is being able to practice with distractions happening. So the fact that Pebbles is barking at the postman right now, that is a distraction that I am all good with, I'm used to. I'm letting it go, it's not important. And then placing your foot back down to the floor and supporting your ankle, your left ankle, onto your right thigh. Lovely. And again, just giving the sole of your foot a little squeeze and massage, being intuitive. So you'll know what feels nice. You don't have to be a reflexologist. You don't have to be a massage therapist. It's your foot. You can go and wash your hands afterwards. You do what feels really nice. To think about softening the fascia, the muscles, the connective tissue, the tendons, the ligaments around the foot, the ankle, the skin. Lovely. Particularly if you're on your feet a lot of the time, this practice will be really good for you. And then we're going to do that lovely little exercise, which I think is called goofing. I'm not sure if my teacher made that term up, but I will call it that. So we're going to take the fingers of the right hand and just insert the fingertips in between each toe. So you feel that sense of space. Maybe you stay here and you do some rotations. Pebbles, no. Maybe you slide your fingers all the way in between each toe. And on one foot it's going to feel easier than the other. For those of you that wear smart shoes all the time, or particularly in winter, when we cram our feet into boots a little bit more, or for those of you who spend all day wearing particular shoes for sports, riding boots, climbing shoes, this might feel a little bit more uncomfortable. I'm just going to rotate the ankle. Maybe squeezing with the palm of your hand on your fingers on the ball of your foot. And changing direction. And then just coming back to a neutral position, and then with a flourish, releasing your fingers and feeling that sense of whoosh space between your toes. You're going to rock the baby now, so holding on to your foot and your knee, keeping a little bit of flexion in your left ankle, so pulling your toes back towards your shin, rather than just letting your leg go floppy, engaging the muscle, the calf muscle, letting your knee rock side to side. You can let your hips move as well, you can let your chest move, do whatever feels comfortable to warm your body up. Maybe even, if it feels appropriate, you can hook your foot into your elbow and your knee into your other elbow, keeping a nice upright spine, remember, being able to breathe. Please don't ever feel that you have to put yourself into a posture that feels painful. There are edges of comfort that we can explore when we practice our yoga, but pain is a no-no. Why would you want to make yourself experience pain? Lovely. And then gently release, lowering your foot to the floor, giving your knee a little rub, shaking out your leg. We're going to do that same exercise again. Come sideways on to demonstrate. So reaching your arms forward, pulling your toes back towards your shins, lifting up through the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, drawing belly button in towards spine. Imagine someone's pulling your belly button through behind you. Relax your shoulders. Gaze is forwards. Lovely. Your feet might pull back a little bit, that's fine. Maybe you stop halfway. Anyone come up a little bit? Just a teeny bit. And then halfway down, lovely, relaxing your shoulders. belly button to spine. Continuing to breathe, not holding the breath here. And then letting your head lower down, reaching your arms over your head, having a toe to fingertip stretch, feeling a little arch in your back, opening your chest, opening your armpits. Oh, maybe having a yawn if that feels appropriate. Sometimes you go into this position, you get an involuntary yawn, and that's great. And then bring your left knee in toward your chest, hugging your knee in toward your chest. And then straightening your left leg up towards the ceiling. You can hold on behind your thigh for a moment to get the toe point, or you can let your arms drop down by your side, use your hip flexor muscles to keep it there. That's fine. If you can't reach, that's fine. Relax your shoulders, relax the whole of your back into the floor. A little bit of engagement through your tummy muscles, lifting up through your pelvic floor as if you need the loo, and you're holding on in the queue, relaxing your arms by your sides. As you breathe out, begin to extend through your toes and slowly lower your left heel to the floor, but go slower than you want to. Really, really slow. Using your breath, so have a few breaths. We might be about halfway now. Don't rush this, because the magic happens. The slower you go, the more magic. Really focusing all your awareness on your heel and where it's going to meet the floor. Lovely. When your heel reaches the floor, bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug, so wrap your arms around your shins, lift your nose towards your knees, have a squeeze. Then bring your hands behind your legs. You can have a rock backwards and forwards, balancing on the sit bones. Backwards and forwards, balancing on the sit bones. This time, should we have a go at coming all the way up to stand? So rocking backwards, forwards, reaching your arms forwards and lifting all the way up to stand. Sound effects are great. If it takes a few rocks, if you need to use your hands, that's all fine. We'll just do one little bit of balance just to see how our feet feel after all that work that we've done on them. And we're going to do everyone's favourite, Vrikshasana or tree pose. So take the weight into your left foot, soften that foot, spread your toes out, look down at your foot. Can you see space between each toe? Relax, pull your left hip into the midline, keep your left hip pointing forwards, and then start to open your right knee out to the right and feel your hip turn. So you're pivoting on your toes. Excellent. You can rest your heel on your ankle. Bring your hands together. You can rest your foot on your shin. Some of you might feel comfortable picking your foot up and bringing your foot all the way into your groin, pushing your foot into your thigh and your thigh into your foot, relaxing your shoulders, pulling your left hip in, so we don't want to be sticking the left hip out to the side. We don't want to be squeezing with the toes. Relax your toes. Breathing, opening the right knee out to the side and the left hip out to the left. If you feel you need to, you can use your arms for balance. You could even use a wall or a chair for balance too. Connecting with your breath. Wobble is good. Feeling the stability, feeling the wobble in your ankle is good. It's building strength. From here, we're going to have another little balance actually. Let's bring the right knee in towards the front. Release the foot from your leg. And as you breathe out, hinge forwards at your hips. Send your right leg out behind you. Bringing your chest parallel to the floor, extending into your right heel. Little warrior 3. Lovely. Breathing belly button to spine. Looking down at the floor. And then lifting yourself all the way up to stand, lowering your foot and giving your standing leg, your left leg, a good old shake out. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. So we stood on our left leg for quite a long time there. So we're going to do the same on the right side so we're not walking around in circles later. So weight evenly to start through both feet. Spread the feet out. Then let the weight transfer over slightly more into the right foot. Once you do this, what happens in my head is like, oh, I'm going to stand on this foot. So I start to turn my toes out to the right. Please try not to do that. See if you can keep your right toes pointing straight forward. Therefore, your knee is also pointing forwards. And it keeps everything strong in your leg. Your knee isn't compromised and it's not twisting. So Finding a drishti, which means a point to focus on in front of you, something that's not moving, ideally. So if you're doing this in a group with other people, try not to look at each other just yet. Maybe that can be something that you can work on to play with, to see if looking at movement affects your balance. Left foot to the right ankle. Maybe your foot is resting on your calf. Please don't put your foot on your knee, because if you start to push, you're pushing the knee in the wrong direction, and that's not going to end well for anyone. Or if you feel comfortable too, you can bring your foot up into your groin, pressing your heel into your thigh and your thigh into your heel. Yes, we're spreading the toes on the standing foot, the right foot, but can you also think about spreading your toes on your left foot, pulling them away from your leg, so you're pressing with the heel and the ball of your foot. Brilliant. You can bring your hands to your chest. I find this helps to bring everything into center to balance. But if you need to, you can have your arms wobbling out to the side, you can extend them. Some people like hands on hips. You can use a wall or a chair to support you. But see if you can take one more deep, slow, steady breath into the belly. Exhaling, belly button to spine. Smiling. Then bringing your hands to your bringing your knee up in front of you. Pebbles, no. And extending your left leg out behind you. Balance with distraction. It's all part of my plan. Extending the head forward, the left heel out behind you. Trying to keep your hips level. Imagine you're balancing a tray on your hips. And you don't want that tray to fall off to the right. So you're dropping your left hip a little bit. Lovely. Doesn't matter if you fall over. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you bad at yoga. And then lifting up to stand. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. Falling over is all part of it. Bringing your hands down by your sides, toes pointing forwards. Relaxing your shoulders in Tadasana mountain pose. And we're going to come all the way down to the floor to relax. So take a deep breath in. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Stretching into your fingers as you breathe out. Reach your arms forward, diving forward towards the ground, letting your head relax down in a forward fold. So we've stretched the hamstrings a little bit. Some of you might be able to have your legs relatively straight, but if you can straighten your legs and your back is rounding, I'd rather you bent your knees and lengthened your spine. Lovely. Just have a moment in a forward fold. Perhaps hold on to your elbows, opposite elbow with opposite hand. Let your elbows be heavy and have a little sway, stretching the muscles in your back. Then releasing your hands to the floor, stepping back to a kneeling position. Lifting your chest, lifting your tailbone so you're coming into your cow. Stretching your tummy. Make sure you're not straining your neck, so maybe keeping your head looking slightly down to the floor. And breathing out, rounding your spine. And as you do so, drop your bottom to your heels, coming into child's pose. And then roll over from your child's pose onto your back. If you've got space, you can just roll. Otherwise, you can jiggle around to find your own space, your mat. You don't need a mat to practice yoga either. That's another misconception. So just finding your space, making yourself warm and comfortable on your back now. If your tummy muscles feel like they need it, if your back muscles feel like they need it, you can bend your knees or pop something underneath your knees. Let your arms relax by your sides. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw relax. Relax your toes. Relax the soles of your feet. Ankles. Relax your shins, your knees. Relax your thighs, your hips, and your buttocks. Relax the muscles in your belly and either side of your spine. Feel your spine softening each space between each vertebra. There are all these bones in your back and there are spaces between each one. Can you feel those spaces growing as you relax? Can you relax your fingers, Feel space in the palms of your hands and wrists. Relax your forearms, relax your elbows, shoulders, chest, throat. Relax all the muscles in your face. Let your whole body relax. Now, if you want to, you're welcome to stop the video and continue to lie down, to continue to relax for as long as you like, as long as you need. It's not going to sleep, it's deep relaxation. Letting your body do nothing. However, if you feel ready to, and it's appropriate right now, I'd like you to take a deeper breath in, filling yourself up with sweet, fresh air, breathing in deeply, expanding your belly, expanding your chest, feeling your whole body becoming lighter as you lift yourself away from the floor almost. It feels like you're floating with your breath in. And then breathe out through your mouth. One more like that. Breathe in, have some stretches as well as you breathe in. Some wiggles, expanding into your fingers, into your toes. And relax, sink back into the floor again. And once you've found that depth to your breath, you can begin to move a little bit more, stretching your fingers, your wrists, your ankles, your toes, your legs, moving your legs, your arms, maybe rolling your head from side to side. In your own time, I'd like you to roll over onto one side, just rolling onto one side and resting there for a moment. If your eyes are still closed, now's the time to let your eyes gently open with a few blinks. Look around you, notice what you can see. Is there something that you have never spotted before, something new, something amazing? It might be a shadow, it might be a light coming through a window. And then when you're ready to, you can guide yourself up to a comfortable upright position again. And it might feel, after that little hip opening practice, that cross legs is a little bit more comfortable for you. But if it's not, that's fine. Extend your legs. Come here. Kneel, do whatever feels appropriate for you. And we'll finish with one final stretch, reaching our arms up towards the ceiling. Prana mudra, stretching into your fingers, little fingers turning towards each other slightly, extending through the crown of your head. Deep breath in, imagine your arms are like a funnel, channeling all the goodness into the crown of your head. And then as you breathe out, bring your palms together. Fingertips by your forehead, by your lips, and to your heart. Resting your thumbs at the center of your chest, letting your chin drop to your chest, and bowing forwards and saying thank you to your own amazing bodies, your amazing feet for holding you upright. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that.